The Battle of Taranto was a pivotal naval engagement during World War II, taking place on the night of November 11 to 12, 1940. It marked the first time in history that an attack by aircraft carriers effectively crippled a major fleet. The battle occurred in the port of Taranto, in southern Italy, where a large portion of the Regia Marina, the Italian Royal Navy, was anchored. By late 1940, Italy had entered World War II on the side of the Axis powers, and the Mediterranean Sea became a crucial theater for naval dominance. The British Royal Navy needed to neutralize the threat posed by the Italian fleet to maintain control over sea lanes vital for British resupply routes, particularly to Egypt and the Middle East. The Italian fleet at Taranto was a formidable force, consisting of several battleships, cruisers, and destroyers. To challenge such a strong fleet directly in open combat would have been risky for the British, so they planned a surprise aerial attack using aircraft launched from carriers, which was an innovative tactic at the time. The attack on Taranto was part of Operation Judgment, which itself was a component of a larger British naval strategy in the Mediterranean. The British aircraft carrier HMS Illustrious was tasked with carrying out the attack. The Royal Navy planned to use Fairey Swordfish biplanes, which were outdated-looking, but capable torpedo bombers. These aircraft were fitted with special modifications to allow them to deliver torpedoes in the shallow waters of Taranto's harbour, a difficult task due to the harbour's anti-torpedo nets. On the night of November 11th, the attack commenced with 2 waves of Fairey Swordfish bombers, 21 in total. They approached the heavily fortified Taranto harbour in darkness, minimizing the risk of detection. The Italians had positioned several anti-aircraft guns and barrage balloons around the harbour, and the fleet was surrounded by protective netting, but the British aircraft were able to evade much of this defence. In the first wave, the British successfully hit and severely damaged the Italian battleship Conte di Cava, which was incapacitated and eventually sank in the shallow waters of the harbour. 2 other battleships, Littorio and Caio Duilio, were also damaged by torpedoes. The second wave followed shortly after and continued the attack, ensuring that the damage to the fleet was extensive. The Battle of Taranto was a major success for the British. In just a few hours, they managed to severely damage 3 Italian battleships, tipping the naval balance in the Mediterranean in their favour. The Italians, in contrast, were shocked by the effectiveness of the British attack, which had exposed significant vulnerabilities in their harbour defences and fleet preparedness. The Italian Navy was forced to withdraw many of its ships to safer ports further north, effectively reducing its capacity to challenge British naval dominance in the region. Strategically, the battle also had broader implications beyond the Mediterranean. The success of the British raid caught the attention of naval planners worldwide, particularly in Japan. The Japanese carefully studied the Battle of Taranto when planning their own attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet at Pearl Harbor, just over a year later, in December 1941. The attack on Pearl Harbor followed a similar approach, using carrier-based aircraft to cripple a much larger fleet. The Battle of Taranto demonstrated the growing importance of air power in naval warfare, and marked the beginning of the end for the traditional dominance of battleships. The British achieved a decisive victory with minimal losses, effectively altering the course of the naval war in the Mediterranean. It stands as a key example of how technological innovation and tactical surprise can shift the balance of power in war.